Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and I've got a spicy brew that does some new stuff, does some old stuff, and does some silly stuff from Patreon subscriber Michael. This deck takes the Bant control core, Uro, Swords to Plowshares, Brainstorm, Force of Will. We've seen this a million times before. Adds up the Beanstalk, which at this point we're all quite accustomed to, being in control decks. But then we do some lands-related activities. We've got Exploration in this deck as a 2 of, not a whole lot of them, but enough to make it count. We're not like actual lands that needs this in its opening hand to function. We get Brainstorm and Ponder and stuff, so 2 seems like a good number. 2 Life from the Loam. Classic Loam Bant, shouldn't be any surprises there. But then we've got Field of the Dead, Hedge Maze, new Surveil land from Murder's at Karlov Manor, Waterlogged Grove, Ketria Triome, Caracas, and just a bunch of different lands with different names that can trigger Field of the Dead. 3 Wastelands in the deck, pretty high for a control deck. Normally there's 1 or 2. I actually shaved this down from 4 from the list that was sent to me because I wanted more cool tech lands in here. The Field of the Dead's from me, by the way. The Wasteland with 2 Explorations, 2 Loams. This becomes much more reasonable to wastelock an opponent, which is normally kind of a fringe thing that comes up once every 50, 60 games, whatever. But this is more of a plan in this deck if we have the real engine running. Then to cash out the beans, we've got, of course, Force of Will, Lorien Revealed, 3 Solitudes, and this is the Michael Spice. Plow under, 3 GG, put 2 target lands on top of their owner's libraries. Bang. It's 2 Stone Rains, and it's 2 Time Walks. This card is deeply messed up. Kind of been forgotten over the years because why would Wizards of the Coast ever reprint this card? They've learned that this sort of thing is fun only for sick people and not fun for normal people. Despite being reprinted into a core set at one point, they thought at one point in Magic's history, yeah, Plow Under is what we want to build Standard around. Wild shit from Magic's past. We don't do this anymore. But Plow Under, super sick. We can ramp into it with Exploration and Uro to cast it ahead of schedule, or we can just use it in a mid-game to blast somebody into the Stone Age. And it triggers Beanstalk. This is the real achievement to unlock. We've got a bunch of normal stuff overlapped with other normal stuff, making something slightly abnormal, but the real moneymaker in this deck is Plow Under triggering Beanstalk, and I hope that happens at least once. This is just grindy BoshNRoll style Bant control. I'm here for it. Let's get in. Come meet me at MagicCon Chicago. In addition to my official creator booth with Raymond Yu on Friday morning, I'll have a second meet and greet opportunity Saturday morning at the 3-for-1 trading booth from 10 to 11 a.m., right before the Legacy for Original Art tournament starts. Big thanks to 3-for-1 for continuing to provide opportunities like this. Do some shopping at their booth in Chicago, or check out shop.3for1trading.com. I'm on the draw in round 1. I am going to keep this hand. Exploration, pretty bad in this deck without a Loam to go with it. Like, look at me, I have 2 lands here. What am I even going to do with those if I start exploring? But my hand has Plow, Brainstorm, and Force of Will in it. We keep these. Chrome Mox, off we go. What flavor of stupid horse hockey is this going to be? Oh, a double Chrome Mox start. I'm a little worried about this. If this is a Cavern of Souls, it's going to be annoying. Goblin Rabble Daddy. Pitching Spirit Guide. Okay. I mean, I could Force of Will this and just be done with it. I could let it resolve, plow it next turn, and just deal with 1 goblin for the rest of the game. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And still have Force in my hand versus the opponent who went all in to do this. And the main deck Blood Moon makes me think this is Moon Stompy, not goblins. Though they all have kind of merged together at this point. We plow the Rabble. And now I have Force Blue card to survive the subsequent waves here. I'm just more worried about a Blood Moon or a Chalice of the Void follow-up than I am about that initial creature. Brainstorm, pop it off. Okay, this is a lot of lands all of a sudden. I don't think I want to wasteland them. Not yet. That will become part of my plan at some point. And I can put back one of the Misties. Maybe I was supposed to put back Exploration here. I'm going to get Tropical Island, play Exploration, play Misty Rainforest, and hope to get my Beanstalk in before I have to force anything. And I can fetch for Hedge Maze here, get a little card selection. Maybe I'll even bin an Uro straight up. Nuts. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Pain in the Tuchus. I don't want to let this card resolve. I really wish I was able to force first, or get my Beanstalk down first. I could brainstorm and see if I can answer this cleanly, or I can just Force of Will and move on with my life. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to fetch the Hedge Maze. Oh, they're done. Nope, had enough. They're probably over there like, what were you thinking about, you idiot? I have no cards in hand. It's like I was thinking about how badly I wanted to beat you, is the answer. Okay, they're a Blood Moon Stompy deck. Force of Negation is not good against the threats in their deck. It is good against the lock pieces in their deck. I don't think this is a deck that can beat Paradox Zone if we go long. Force of Vigor should come in. This is my tier list. Definitely Force of Vigor, maybe Force of Negation and Paradox Zone. Let's see what's going on here. I promise this is not going to be one of those leagues where I board out the meme every round, but I think 2 Plow Unders is too many. 1 is actually a hard lock if we get into a mid game on a stable board, because this red deck can't manipulate their draws at all. Like, they can't fetch away the 2 lands if they're done with them or whatever, but yeah, I'm going to keep one of these because that's very nice. Life from the Loam, yes. Exploration. Exploration probably not so much, because this is more about being alive than it is about grinding insane value. Because if we're alive, we're just going to outvalue them anyway. And without the explorations in the deck, I could go down to 1 life from the Loam. My current ways to win the game are Field of the Dead, which may or may not work versus Blood Moon, Solitude's Uros. Do I want the P-Zone in here? Yeah, I'm actually going to cut a Force Negation and get P-Zone in here. Let's party. I have a lot of pitch interaction in this deck. It is a Beanstalk deck, and that's usually how those are constructed. Oof. Force, no blue card. A Solitude, no white card. 2 green uncastable 5-drops. Got a mulligan this one. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to lose to a creature. I will keep this and put one of the Plows to the bottom. All right, let's see what happens. I'm not worried about Blood Moon right away. I can beat most creatures, including Magus of the Moon, which they just pitched to Chrome Mox. Okay, the Moon hit my eye like a big pizza pie. But I got basics. I have the basic that matters, which is the one that casts all these Plows. It might take a while to dig out of this, but kept for a reason. Yikes! Okay, well, I have to force that one based on all the words I just said. Multiple Wastelands in play now. All right, this is going to be a dummy fight for a while. I have their next 2 plays answered, but also I'm not really doing anything. And if they play Caves of Chaos Adventure, I'm in trouble. Plow this before it's allowed to boast. They're hellbent. I've got Force of Will. I've got a Plow. I got my fingers crossed. There's a Lorien Revealed in my deck. That's one of my better draws. Prismatic Ending. Interesting. Okay, I'm not going to cast that to exile Chrome Mox, but my next basic land, no matter what it is, removes Blood Moon. Okay, I can remove this Chalice too. Great. Found that one. Right on time. Ending the Chalice. Gotta put 2 into it. They're top decking over there. They're holding a card. What card would they have in their hand that they haven't cast yet? This is just Fury. Hell yeah. Okay. That's another 3 life for you. Another land. Plow the Fury. All right, now the real pressure's on. Oh, they drew Rabble Master. Okay. I need to draw another Plow or a white card or die. Play Field of the Dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they're going to get it done here. Oh, okay. I'm not going to concede. Let's see what happens. I'm way behind and very dead, but I'll take 1 more draw. They figured it out. Okay. They got me with the Moon. All good. Magus and Blood Moon both confirmed to be in the deck. I have in my answers to those cards. I did mulligan a hand that had Paradox Zone in it. I think I got to cut the Plow under. Under that pressure, like I mulliganed a hand with Plow under and P-Zone in it. And then I died to turn 1 Blood Moon that I could have forced negation. Yeah, we'll just tighten up here. I was trying to keep the dream alive. But my real dream is beating mono red every time I pair into it. Okay, I can fetch a basic island here. I'm a green card away from clearing out Force of Vigor. I'll keep. Do I want to have access to basic forest or basic plains if I get a second turn without Blood Moon? I think plains is more important. Basic island, ponder. Okay, force of will in the grip, Uro underneath it. I think Uro should be the last card in this pile. Ancient Tomb, Chalice of the Void, that's fine. I could force a vigor that a couple turns from now and wasteland them currently. Wasteland you. The mana in these decks is frequently pretty bad. If you can flip the script on them, it's pretty effective. Chrome Mox, that will die to my Force of Vigor next turn. Rabble Master, I guess I have to force this. I'm not happy about it, but this is where we find ourselves. Okay, play Flooded Strand, and then I can Force of Vigor. There are 2 things in the upkeep before they get mana out of them. Basic Mountain, 3 cards in hand. Shatter Skull, zapped it in. Another Chalice, Brainstorm on the way out here. Okay, Ponder. I'm not going to be able to cast for a long time. Field of the Dead's a win con eventually. I'm actually going to put back Ponder and Supreme Verdict here. And then I'm going to fetch. Unfortunately, my Triome, I got cute and added red so I could get Prismatic Ending bigger, but I actually want access to white here. And there's no tech land that does that. So I could grab Tundra or Plains. Or Savannah actually gets me my 3rd color. It's Savannah. I'm getting Savannah. Motobug. I'm going to wasteland them, continue trying to deny their mana and make them not function, because I'm not functioning either. The difference is I can win just by making land drops with this Field of the Dead, and that is my plan currently. My next white source can wrath the board. Tropical Island, we're hitting it, we're going. They got a handful of stuff though. If they find an Ancient Tomb, that's all flying at me. Yeah, let's go. A real magic card. Okay, looking for Uro, looking for white source, looking for Prismatic Ending. So many good draws in my deck. And we're trying to fade Ancient Tomb out of their deck. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Prismatic Ending, clear this Chalice out, which unlocks my Brainstorm. I'm just going to fire this now. Okay. Supreme Verdict, Brainstorm. I'm going to keep Brainstorm and Fetch Land in my hand here. Next turn, I'm in the Field of the Dead, good for 2 zombies. Or I could fetch a basic if I need that. Okay, something's happening. Soken's on. Caves of Chaos Adventure, that's really good. Okay, well, you have the initiative. And I can play Tundra, get a zombie, play Brainstorm, fetch, get another zombie. They did just unlock the goods, though. Okay, Tundra, zombie. Supreme Verdict's on top of my deck. I don't actually want that card. But I am down to Brainstorm and see what else is there. Guess I'm keeping Supreme Verdict. Caracas, Tundra. Can go back. And I'll pass. Maybe I want to fetch and then wasteland them. I actually do want to do that. Fetch for... the Hedge Maze gives me selection. Yeah, Hedge Maze. I get a Zombo and a Solitude. Put that right on top. And wasteland them. If I can screw them, that's really good. And my next land will trigger Field of the Dead anyway. 7-5. I know they have a land in their hand. They get a flip here. Counting on Solitude to do the business. They flip Fable the Mirror Breaker. Good card. Only 1 blocker, though. If I could take the initiative and Wrath, that would be fine with me. Fable's in. Please don't have Fury red card as your last 2. And they passed. Nice. That means I can attack, tutor my plains or forest. They didn't even block. They know what time it is. I would like plains here. And I'm going to Wrath before I play my plains, because I would like a creature left over afterwards. Bang. Blocker. Okay, Field of the Dead stuff is happening. But they have Fable and the Mirror Breaker. I've got a Solitude I can hardcast next turn. My life total is 9. Down to the wire. They discarded 2. Down to the Bugbear Chrome Mox. Chalice on 0. Oh, are they going to Broadside Bombardiers? Does that kill me? Interesting. They are going to Bombardiers. They're going to attack me and kill my zombie, so I can't get the initiative back. Oh no, I'm just dead. 5. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They got me for Xaxes here and I can't block. 1 card short. They found the line. Good job. Let's hope they mess this up, but it's hard to miss counting to 7. Oof, yep.
one white card, one zombie, one land drop, one etc. in a variety of directions. But that was a tight match. That was fun. We saw the engine come together, triggered Field of the Dead. First time in like 2 years for me. Feels good. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
Round 2, I'm on the draw, and I'm going to keep this hand even though I wish one of these Wastelands was a colored mana source. See what happens. Chalice on 0, okay. That probably means they also have a Chalice on 1. Or they're, well, they would not turn on Mox Opal in this fashion, at least not with that sequencing. Someone's new here. Take it easy on them. Whoops. Play a Mox Opal now. Ancient Tomb. Here comes the Chalice on 1. Oh, they had Simi's Spirit Guide anyway. Okay. Cool. Well, we are likely to lose to whatever this is. Maybe they misclicked and meant to play Chromox first and play Chalice instead. If I find a Plow right now, I actually feel okay. Because the Chalice is not on a number that hurts me. Solitude's good. Plow's good. I would honestly even take Prismatic Ending to exile just the Goblin token and take some of this pressure off. But here we are playing against Goblin Rabble Master again. A Brainstorm. Okay. I think I'm just going to fire my Brainstorm, searching for Tundra, and hope I hit Solitude. That's my best chance to win this game. Okay. I can Plow next turn, put back Plow under, and Wasteland. Okay, so I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I take 6 this turn. I can Plow the Rabble Master, then Wasteland the Ancient Tomb. Oh, they have 2. Okay. Maybe I won't Wasteland the Ancient Tomb, and I'll just build out my mana instead. Work on getting Uro. Okay, I'm at 12. Waterlogged Grove, pass. Yeah, I'm not trying to Wasteland them in this environment. Allow the Rabble before combat. Now Uro can try to take over this game, and I gotta hope they just don't come up with another red source. I feel like this game would already be over if they sequence turn 1 correctly. That's gotta be a misclick. It's the only thing that makes any sense at all. Okay, there's the Plow under. Uro ends up neutral because I lose life from Waterlogged Grove and take 2. Wasteland, get in. Waste one of these Ancient Tombs. At least try to keep them off 4 drops. Yeah, if I can get this Uro into play before I'm dead. And they packed it, wow. I think that was partially a shame tilt concede after that weird turn 1, because they're actually doing fine here. Okay, got away with that one. Force of Vigor, Paradox Zone. Force of Negation. Boring that we have to do this again, but now Pride's on the line. Can't lose to this stupid deck twice in a league. Sorry, Plow under. Sorry, Life from the Loam. Sorry, Exploration. Just, you know, the engine that this deck's built around. But this is not because the engine sucks. This is because my opponent is specifically attacking me in a way that makes this engine not good. This is about my opponent's decks, not about mine just being built poorly. Because I actually think this package is pretty cool, and I hope we get at least one match that my opponent intends to play more than 2 turns. That we get to showcase it. A Force of Negation, no blue card, Force of Vigor with plenty of green cards. I will try to run this on the strength of Force of Negation. Okay, there's that card that I boarded out one of my Loams. I still have all my Uros, so I have 4 cards in my deck that care about this. That's fine. That's also a second free target on Force of Vigor if they follow up with a Blood Moon, or even if they put Chromox into play or something. Just gets 2 targets. And I found Uro. Cool. That is the end game locked up here. I can fetch the Hedge Maze here and get a little card selection. The Surveil's not as good because of Leyline. But if they play Blood Moon or something this turn, the Leyline will be gone by then. I'm not going to Force of Vigor this turn just to kill Leyline of the Void. I don't think the selection off the Hedge Maze is worth that. Maybe the turn after, if Uro is the next thing I want to be doing, then it becomes more relevant. Cavern on Goblins. Goblin Matron off of a Simian Spirit Guide. All right, what are we looking for? This would actually be a great turn to find a Wasteland. They kept kind of a stinker that seems on the strength of Leyline of the Void, which is not a card I care about. At least not in terms of surviving the early game. Ringleader. All right, I'm definitely going for the Hedge Maze here, trying to get things moving. Hedge Maze, get a Surveil. I'll keep any land here, but especially Wasteland. Flooded Strand, snap it off right on top. The Flooded Strand puts me in a little bit of an awkward spot because I would like to fetch basic planes before a Magus of the Moon shows up, but I also would like to cast Uro at some point, which basic planes does not cast. It casts the front half, not the back. I think I'm going to fetch the basic planes. I just don't want to be ice cold to a Magus of the Moon here. Basic planes, up the Beanstalk. Solitude's a cool draw. Force of Will. Probably not Force of Will. Solitude's one I'm interested in. Okay, this is the turn where I probably attack the Leyline. And now that I know they're goblins and not red stompy, I suspect that there won't be as many targets. At game 1, they could have been red stompy. They didn't reveal anything that was specifically goblins. Hearse, Simian Spirit Guide. Muxus in the grip. Okay, they're attacking. I'm going to force a Vigor, pitching Force of Vigor, take out the Leyline here. Wasteland? Wasteland would be great. Solitude. I'm not mad about Solitude. I'm not happy about it either. Hey, Uro. We got another shot at Wasteland here. Hey, Wasteland, what's up? And I'm going to take out City of Traders rather than Cavern of Souls. It's not like I'm holding a counterspell that can hit Muxus anyway. And now the graveyard's unlocked. I could pitch Solitude to hit something here, which also draws a card. If I can hold out a few turns, Uro plus Solitude is a ton of life gain in front of these little creatures. Opponent has another Cavern of Souls, which is not close to 6 mana. I can kill a Mind Goblin. War Chief, okay. Do I have time to mess with a War Chief? I'm going to Solitude the War Chief. It just saves me damage. This thing represents mana. Let's get it out. The P-Zone. That looks really embarrassing now that I know I'm against goblins. Against Red Stompy, you can sort of resolve this thing under any number of Chalices or Trinispheres or Blood Moons, and you eventually win. Goblins, this is a 5 mana do-nothing. I would kind of rather have Plow Under. Ponder, what's up? I love you. Ponder, Force of Negation, Prismatic Ending, Basic Island. Island does cast Uro next turn, and I think that's the most important thing I can do right now. Hey, don't shuffle, play Flooded Strand, and pass. In the position I am in, I would Force of Negation a Chrome Mox. I just can't have them having more mana. Uh-oh. Do they have the Spirit Guide? Really glad I took out the War Chief now. Oh, they had the Spirit Guide. All right, well, we probably friggin' lose here. Battlecry Goblin, Broadside Bombardiers, Mind Goblin. Yep, you did it. Okay, now I know what I'm playing against. I can sideboard correctly. Containment Priest coming in over Paradox Zone, not close. Force of Vigor is interesting because they usually play Magus in the Moon, but they might have Blood Moon also. They do have Chalice, and they made it clear they have Unlicensed Hearse and Leyline of the Void in their deck. That's a lot of hate for just part of what I'm doing, but it is also disruptive enough that I probably care. If I get to a stable board where I cast Plow Under, the game is over, but also it does nothing to help me get to that point. I don't think I can actually play that card. Yeah, I think 2 mana relevant spell over 5 mana irrelevant spell is a nice upgrade here. Do I want Loam? Do I want Endurance? Endurance is just a body that can gum things up. I'm still worried about specifically Muxus, but Endurance can tangle with some of the little stuff. Force of Negation is a lot worse now that they're not Stompy. Also, alright, Force of Negation is an Endurance now. It's okay to shave an Up the Beanstalk or 2 or a Ponder or 2 against these red Stompy Chalice decks, but this deck doesn't really have more stuff that I want to bring in that spot, so I'm going to go with it like this. Okay, I think my hand is good here. I'm going to keep it. Island Ponder. And I think I just pass with Flooded Strand in play here. That plays around turn 1 Magus, especially uncounterable Magus. It plays around Mind Goblin. Buys me the most time if they have like Rabblemaster start. They mulled a 5. About time. I took this deck to a paper local last week, and basically just milled to 5 every single round and had no fun at all. Goblins, I mean, not this deck. When you keep 7, it's nuts, but the mauls add up quick. Also, Mind Goblin, significantly worse in paper. A Unlicensed Hearse is fine. I'll deal with that later. Chrome Mox, fine. Exile to Shatter Skull Smashing. My Force of Vigor, so I was going to say, are still in the deck, and there's one right now. Happy to see you. I'm going to get Tropical Island and cast Ponder. Between Swords to Plowshares and Force of Vigor, I have either Moon covered. And 3 lands. Pretty happy to actually see those. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Right into the grip. Exiling my stuff is fine. And I can pitch Uro to destroy these 2 permanents if I need to. I can also wait 2 turns and cast Force of Vigor, then start Uroing. I'm going to try to do that. They've got something here. I have to force a Ringleader. That's the type of thing that will actually catch up and potentially win the game for them. They got 1 card left over there. If it's Muxus, they need to draw a red source. If it's not Muxus, I hope it's not a Ringleader. I'm good against most standalone dopes. And I don't think I want Field of the Dead, so I'll probably shuffle at the end of this turn. I might even Hedge Maze. They ate my Force of Will. If they go Mountain Muxus here, it's over. My career's over. Okay, they didn't do that. Fetch for Hedge Maze. Up the Beanstalk. I will put that on top of my library. Both because they'll just exile it if I bin it, and because it's the nice sort of thing to follow up with. And I'm just going to send the Force in the upkeep because they're clearly hurting for mana and didn't cast any spells last turn. If I could take them completely off red, that rules. Or I could do it in the end step. That's even better. When they tap the Hearse here to eat 1 thing, and then I put 2 cards in the graveyard. Okay, this is a little risky now. I can get my basic planes and make sure I have Magus of the Moon covered, but that slows down Uro. I think I'd rather make sure I don't lose to some BS. Yeah, I'm going to get Island Plains here and cast the Force. Knock out their only colored mana source and their only non-land permanent. They're holding 2 cards. Let's see what they are. Or let's not see what they are. I hope they end up losing with them still in hand because they can't cast them. That's the game I need to be playing right now. Red source immediately, but it does wipe out the City of Traders. And I'm really glad I took out that Chrome Mox because that might have been Muxus. Okay, Uro. Leave up the white Savannah. Cool. I am not going to play Beanstalk because the worst things that can happen to me are partially or completely mitigated by Swords to Plowshares. Like, even if they do somehow Muxus here, I could plow the War Chief that comes out of it, and at least I'm not dead instantly. If they Rabble Master here, I could pick it off before it does anything. Bombardier, same story. Magus of the Moon, same story. Played around it, feels good. Had to take a turn off my beloved Uro, but at least I didn't lose on the spot after playing this game for so long. I am a card short of Uro right now. I'm going to go Beanstalk. Beans, Rebeans, let's go. Beans, Rebeans, Lorien Revealed, okay. I can hit a land drop right now. Or I could cast Lorien Revealed next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to chill. 3 cards in their hand, or 2 cards and 4 mana. I really suspect they have a Muxus based on how this game has gone. Or they drew a Leyline of the Void. I can put Uro into play here, or I can Lorien and draw 5 cards. I'm going to draw 5 cards. Hard to argue with drawing 5. There's Solitude, that's a great one. Can I get a Force too? No, but I did find a Wasteland. Take out the Ancient Tomb. And now I feel extremely favored. And opponent feels the same. Okay, cool. This one, more goblin-y creature than prison-y versus the last round, but we had pretty good matches against both, as good as you can against Mono Red anyway. On to the next round. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops, at 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3 and hope my opponent's deck is full of creatures, because Up the Beanstalk Double Solitude is a plan that only works against half of decks, but it's a good plan if we're in the right ballpark here. A swamp, perfect. Oh, sick, they're ninjas. Well, they can't daze this prismatic ending with a basic swamp. Cool. Even drew a white source. Blammo. Hopefully this sets them back pretty far. It would be annoying if they Force of Will this, because I don't want to have to pitch Solitude yet. If. Okay, there's that. Now I have to decide if I want to attack the Changeling Outcast or attack the Yuriko that's coming out of it. I could also let them hit with a ninja once, resolve Beanstalk, and at least get a cantrip out of my Solitude. Yeah, I'm going to see what comes out of this Outcast. If I draw a Plow, it might not even matter. Okay, it is Yuriko. I'm going to let her hit me. It's 1 card versus I get to draw a card next turn. And they flip Daze. Hate my life. Let's hope they daze the Beanstalk, or I just draw Swords to Plowshares or Caracas. Exploration, interesting. Alright. I'll get that in. Forest, fetch. I'm going to get Tropical Island here and cast Up the Beanstalk. They did fire the Daze on that, which means I fire the Solitude on Yuriko. I can't afford to get hit with this multiple times. My gamble there was that 1 flip off Yuriko wouldn't be that bad, and then I can get my engine in. Can't let this just run roughshod, though. Okay, Life from the Loam's a good draw. Uro's a good draw. Beanstalk is fine. Outcast is back. Ornithopter 2. Good cards, deck. Let's go. The second exploration. Uh-oh. I'm going to draw a card right away. Prismatic Ending. Annoying. I'm going to take out the Changeling Outcast and hope that they just don't have a ninja in their hand. My options are wait for the ninja to show up, get hit by it once, and then try to answer it. By taking out Outcast, they at least don't get double triggers, because Yuriko and Ingenious Infiltrator both trigger off any ninja that hits. Opponent just revealed their identity to me. This is actually a friend of mine who I know, and I didn't recognize their username, but I do know that they play ninjas. Makes sense now. All right, are we getting smushed? Is this a bait attack, or do we actually have more ninjas? Oof. Well, at least glad I took out the Infiltrator, or whatever that thing's called. Outcast. Took out the Outcast. That would have drawn 2 cards, and I can't Prismatic Ending this 4-drop anyway. Okay, Swords to Plowshares is good here. I would take an Uro or something. That moves me forward. That's not that. That can fetch Hedge Maze, though, and get a little card selection. But we're going to have to take another turn of ninja card advantage. Let's just hope there's not more ninjas. The Ornithopter is attacking, but you should generally attack with that thing anyway. Yeah, okay. That was just a keep me honest. You don't want your opponent to know when you have a ninja or not based on when you attack with Ornithopter. Okay, card selection time. Flipping an Uro straight into the graveyard would not bum me out. Up the Beanstalk. It might be too late for this thing. Or I guess I end up seeing the same card anyway. If I'm trying to draw Swords to Plowshares, I'll just cast my Beanstalk, draw a card, and then if Plow is the second card, I get it anyway. Okay, draw trigger, Brainstorm. Save me, Swords to Plowshares. I've been holding on to this exploration the whole time. I don't know if Ninjas has adopted Orcish Bowmaster. I'm just going to hope that they haven't. Okay. I found an Uro. That's good news. And slide back this Up the Beanstalk. Caracas will at least keep Yuriko from going off on me. This Ingenious Infiltrator has drawn way more cards than I'm comfortable with, but we are still playing the game here. Fetch for Underground Sea in the end step, and didn't do anything with it. Okay. We're just going in again. Draw your card. Changeling Outcast. Legend, not a creature type. Unfortunately, not anymore. There was a time when it was. Okay, my next card is Exploration. And if one of these things is going to get dazed, I prefer it to be Uro. I'm going to lead on Beanstalk. If I play Uro here, it does open me up to just getting obliterated by Yuriko. But I'm so far behind, I got to take a risk. Uro Trigger, Force of Will. Very unhelpful in this matchup, by the way. Am I dead? They're definitely going to draw 2 cards at least. They might draw 6 cards and kill me. Okay, that didn't happen. Just drawing 2 cards. Brainstorm. Oh, if I draw a blue card to back up my Uro with Force, that becomes actually pretty good. I'm still in a lot of trouble to Yuriko because Ornithopter and Outcast are both unblockable by the creatures I have, but I'll have Caracas up by then. Okay. If I draw a blue card right now to protect Uro with and draw 2 off the Beanstalk, but they have enough mana now to Yuriko twice. Like if they put in Yuriko, I bounce her, they can then ninja another creature and still hit me with her. I could just draw Supreme Verdict here. That would be great. Supreme Verdict, let's go. Okay, Force of Will. I did draw a blue card. I'm going to send the Uro. The Uro's on the stack. They've drawn so many cards at this point. Good chance they win a counter war. Okay, we're still playing. Are we getting murderously cut? I will counter that also. I just need something on the board here. And if my Force of Will bean triggers draw Solitude white card, that's a way out of here. Ooh, force me back. Gross. Okay, I could draw 2 cards. Could be Force blue card. Okay. I will plow this Ingenious Infiltrator right now. Oh, I should have waited for the Uro trigger to resolve. I forgot I might still play a land here. If I get dazed and then draw a land, I deserved everything that happens to me in life. Okay. Yeah, I definitely should have waited. Now I lose to Yuriko. That was a mistake. I just got lost in the stack there. That was a lot of exciting spells and triggers on the stack, and this Caracas is tapped. If you have Yuriko, you win. And I could have otherwise at least slowed her down a bit. There's a Brainstorm. Okay, here comes combat. Only 3 mana available. Caracas would have stopped Yuriko. Here it is. Oh, I deserve this so badly. Everything matters. I do a lot of coaching, and a lot of the time people are like, oh yeah, well, it probably doesn't matter. It matters every single time. Even if you win anyway, it still matters. And that was completely avoidable. I just, didn't let the stack clear. Just got too antsy. Loosey-goosey, baby. Let's go to a game 2 that we should probably be ahead in, but we're behind instead. I'm not going to tilt off, just saying words. All right. I like blockers. I like Veil of Summer. I like Carpet of Flowers. Containment Priest does interact the way you want with Ninjutsu. This deck plays Retrofitter Foundry, usually 3 or 4 of them. I don't think I want Force of Vigor just for that. I have Prismatic Endings. And Force of Will is basically textless in this matchup, like very close to it. Beanstalk seems pretty slow and awkward. Though Beanstalk's really good with Solitude, but I did just board out all my forces, which makes Beans worse. I'm just trying to think if Loam is worse than Beanstalk here. I'm cutting one of these 2 mana green cards. I'm leaving the Plow Wonders. It's time. Okay, I'll leave the Loams in here. Okay, keep. I'm going to fetch Tundra. Sometimes Ninjas has Wasteland, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just going to fetch the Tundra, though, and try to do my best. I'd be pretty hyped for a Beanstalk. Prismatic Ending's good. Land number 3 is good. I already have land number 3. I already have Brainstorm, too. Yeah, I'll just put the lands in my hand. My best case scenario here is if they play a 1-drop creature off of a non-basic land. It's just so important for Ninjas to curve out and have all their lands available. They want a creature on turn 1 and 2 mana on turn 2. Wasteland, okay. They are a Wasteland build. Glad I kept that land on top. Okay, I mean, this is fine. Now we just replay the turn. Multiple Flooded Strands ready to go here. Looted Delta Pass, okay. I'm usually pretty happy to draw another Brainstorm, so I'm not going to shuffle here. I think I'm going to Brainstorm in the upkeep before Orcish Bowmaster is an option. Or I could do it now while they're completely manaless. And I'm no coward. How many Wastelands could you possibly play? All right, Caracas, Life from Loam. Now I don't care about Wasteland. How do I want to stack this? Put back my Prismatic Ending and a Wasteland. There aren't any flash creatures in this deck that I'm aware of. Ornithopter's in. I guess Force of Vigor hits Ornithopter too. Dothy Voidwalker. Okay. That resolves. And I'm drawing Wasteland here. Okay. I think I want to fetch exile Dothy, and then waste them. What order do I want to do this in? Because if I waste first, they won't have an island to daze with. If I play out Wasteland, I could pay for days, but then they still have 2 mana and Ornithopter. If I Wasteland first, Wasteland's in the void, and I can't Loam it back, but I think I'm going to live with that world. And ending the Dothy. Okay, that's gone. And I have Solitude if things get crazy this turn. They're cracking a Polluted Delta. Getting another basic swamp. Weird. Another Voidwalker. Okay. Makes sense. That means I'm not getting Ninjutsu this turn. They also didn't fetch a blue source at all. Daze is not a card I have to think about right now. This Voidwalker, though, the Void is forever. Enjoy that phrase. Great flavor. But the Void carries across Voidwalkers, so there is a Wasteland in the Void right now if they want to Wasteland me. That's exiled with a Void counter. Flooded Strand can also fetch a blue source. If I Brainstorm, I could still Solitude on Loam. I think Ponder's better, because if once I Loam, Brainstorm will be better. Okay, yeah, I'm going to Ponder first. Leave up green. I did not find what I was looking for here in Uro kind of rules. Do I just put Plow under in my hand and pitch Solitude? Then Dredge Loam. Oh, I have 2 white sources. I'm not even close to casting Uro. I actually think this is a shuffle. Oh, wait, I have Life from Loam. That's the whole thing that I just said. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put Plow under in my hand. Let's do it. Pitch Solitude, targeting Voidwalker. We got the oof in the chat. I like it. They stack this one, evoke first, then exile, make sure Solitude doesn't end up in the Void. Then Caracas, Loam, pick up 3 lands. Okay, this is big gas for the future. However, there are 4 cards in hand and a ninjutsuable creature. Orcish Bowmaster is confirmed in the deck. Okay. Okay, my top cards are Plains and Uro. I will be dredging Loam just to clear those at least. Dredge Loam. Yeah, this kind of sucks, but I'm gonna fetch for Hedge Maze. Get some card selection. That card's been fun. Just a little one of Hedge Maze. Builds out your Field of the Dead package as well. I do have a Veil of Summer in here. I could get 1 turn where I could blast through a Bowmaster. Hedge Maze. Into Wasteland, because I'm about to Loam it back anyway. Loam with 3 targets. Leave Caracas up in case of Yuriko. And Handful of Gas. I can escape Uro next turn. It's into Bowmaster, but okay. Uro is bigger than Bowmaster. You can outmuscle it. It's not Hull Breacher. Hey, 4 mana now could just Yuriko me. But Ornithopter's staying back, so that's not happening. Okay, 3 cards in the hand. I'm not going to dredge Loam. I have enough lands. Okay, sometimes Ninjas has Back to Basics in it. I'm going to get Basic Island here. Or Basic Forest, because I can play Island off of Uro. Green, green, blue, blue. Other than looping my cards with Endurance, my deck doesn't do anything with non-lands out of the graveyard. I could dredge Loam to avoid a Bowmaster trigger here, but I don't care. I can take 1. And I will put in this Flooded Strand because I already have my Plains that could get my Island. At least I don't die immediately to Back to Basics. I suspect there's removal in hand because opponent just hasn't done anything in a while with lots of mana. Yep. Okay, Uro's gone. I like it better in the graveyard than my hand. I'm not going to bounce it with Caracas to save it. Which also, say it with me, class, opens me up to Yuriko. Okay, here comes some more beats. Land number 5 represents Force of Will. And I'm just going to Supreme Verdict this turn. I think I'm going to fetch Ketria Triome. Or do I want that in my deck actively? Yeah, I think cycling that later is cool. I'm going to get Savannah. It's a good spot for a Supreme Verdict. Ooh, Veil of Summer. That unlocks kind of some crazy stuff down the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can Supreme Verdict plus Uro here. White, white, blue, colorless. Let's just clear out the old pipes here. And I could send Uro, or I could hold up Brainstorm plus Veil of Summer. Yeah, I don't need to send Uro here. I'm hoping to plow under these swamps next turn with Veil of Summer back up. A 4 islands, 2 swamps over there. I am worried about Back to Basics. That card would not be great for me. And I don't have a lot of answers in my deck for it right now. Okay, they're just passing the turn. It's time to plow them under. It's time. There's never been a better time. Opponent's not really doing anything. And I can protect it. And I can take them off a whole color. Bam! Get under there. 2 Stone Rains, 2 Time Walks. Do we get the full value? Well, the full value would have been drawing a card off Beanstalk while we do it. Yeah, our Casting Force, we knew that was going to happen. Veil of Summer. Hopefully this is a giant blowout. And they scooped it up to that. Okay, so I spent a large percentage of that game scared of Back to Basics. And they play Ornithopter and they play Retrofitter Foundry. I think a Force of Vigor should be in all responsibility, probably over one of the Plow unders. We're on the draw now. Yeah, +1 Force of Vigor. That's at least just one more answer to random permanents, and otherwise, deck's the deck. Okay, Wasteland's confirmed in the deck. I do like Prismatic Ending versus 1-drops. I don't like the 1 land. I do play, 23 lands in this deck? 24 lands in this deck. That's a lot of those. I'm going to keep. Let's go. Island. Ornithopter. Cool thing about Island Ornithopter is even if they daze, I can't get ninja'd on turn 2 because they don't have 2 mana. Come on, land. And if it's not a land, come on, no Wasteland from the opponent. Another Brainstorm. I'm just going to send the Prismatic Ending and hope it works. Daze. Okay, well, that didn't work. I could still Force of Vigor Ornithopter if I want to get crazy here. But if they Wasteland me, it's at least turn 4 before they can Ninja. I'd still prefer not to get Wastelanded, though. Okay, cool. This gives me 2 targets for Force of Vigor, but I have to be careful because I can't just send it to Ornithopter or else they flip into a 4/4. Lorien Revealed, okay. That is a more reliable thing to find than... I'm going to get the Hedge Mage busted. More reliable thing to find than casting Brainstorm here. Solitude on top. Is this something I want access to? I think it is. And I really hope opponent just makes a 4/4 in the end step and gives me 2 good targets for Force of Vigor. They're not going to do that if they have a Ninja. Okay. Now I have to decide how I want to handle this. I don't really want to get Ninja'd. Okay, I'm going to Force of Vigor right now. I get to flip into a 4/4, but at least I don't get Ninja'd. And the Retrofitter's gone. Uh-oh, something's happening. Am I just getting hardcast dazed? Yuck. Okay, can't pay for that. But I'm not getting Ninja'd. This early game is all about treading water and just trying to be alive for the late game. Brainstorm when they can't Bowmaster. Lots of lands, love that. Okay. Put back Savannah, and I think I just put Misty on top. And I'm going to save this Solitude for whatever ninjas come in my way. We've worked through 2 counterspells already. This Ornithopter would have been a 4/4 2 turns ago if there was no Ninja in hand. Just gotta hope it's not Ninja Force Blue card. Ninjutsu, Solitude. Okay, we got in there on that. Now we gotta beat a Retrofitter Foundry, and the Force of Vigor is already countered. I have 3 Prismatic Endings in my deck. I have Uro that could be bigger than 4/4s. The interaction, if you haven't seen this before, is sacrifice a Thopter, make a 4/4. Ornithopter just is a Thopter on its own. You don't have to work up the chain. I will take my next land, and I'm going to fetch for Savannah, and then cast Brainstorm. This shows me 3 fresh cards. Swords of Plowshares among them. Okay. If opponent just flips into a Thopter here, or into a Construct, I can Plow the Construct. If opponent sends another Ninja in, I can Plow that Ninja, and we continue to just tread water here. 2 cards in hand. Here comes a Ninja. It's Yuriko. Plow Yuriko. Got her. Okay. Ornithopter in hand. Got 3 mana. Retrofitter Foundry is just good against control decks. Alright, 8 power in play. Time to fetch and hope my next draw is good. And Supreme Verdict rips here. I just want Uro. I just want to go bigger than what they're doing. I think I get the Ketria Triome. This game's going to be too fast for me to cycle that for value. Let's just get a tap land out of the way. Beanstalk. Okay, I will Beanstalk. I want to leave up white at the end of the chain. That means Savannah, Hedge Maze is the tap. There's Uro. That is one of the things I was looking for. Brainstorm here. Loam, interesting. Okay, I'm going to put... Okay, if I put back Uro Ponder... Yeah, if this was just a ETB untapped mana source, just a basic land, basic green source or green dual, this line would be really easy, but instead it is somewhat complicated. Because if I put Uro back with Ponder above it, then I just don't fetch. And then I cast Loam next turn, pick up 3 lands, cast Ponder, dredge Loam, Uro's in the graveyard. I've taken 16 by then. I think I need the front half of Uro just to play, and Life from the Loam is too slow. Put back Loam Ponder, hit my land drop, I guess is the play here. Okay, so it's going to be draw Ponder, shuffle, cast Ponder, and then try to find a white spell to slow down their clock while I get Uro under me. 8 power suddenly in play. Bowmaster's in their deck. That would be such a sick draw. Could just hard cast a Yuriko here. Okay, passing the turn. Draw, fetch. I'll get basic island and cast the Ponder. Okay. 2 white cards found, actually. Okay, Prismatic Ending into my hand. Uro will draw Swords to Plowshares. And I'm just going to Ending one of these constructs right now. Ending can interact with Retrofitter, but Plow can interact with ninjas in combat. I could, if I find a spot, cast Prismatic Ending for X equals 4 and trigger up the Beanstalk, but that's not where this game is headed. I'm going to get this Uro into play and stabilize, or I'm going to get run over somehow. Okay, opponent using double Retrofitter stuff. Make a servo, immediately make it a Thopter. That represents a construct next turn. Dothy Voidwalker and played your land. Okay. All the chips are down. I'm holding Swords to Plowshares. Uro's going to come into play here. Let's go. Time to stabilize this, turn the corner, do stuff. This can be a Thopter, and they can make another servo. Basically just have to Plow Dothy Voidwalker because that card is so good against my deck and completely unblockable. Endurance in my hand, which makes me think about what I'm going to exile, because I might actually end up putting these cards back into my deck. Misty, Flooded Strand, Ponder, Brainstorm, Prismatic Ending. That leaves kind of a spread of removal. Oh, I should exile Solitude. No, I think Solitude's fine in there. I have 5 mana. If we get there, we get there. Okay, Plow the Dothy Voidwalker. Don't want you to untap with that. I'm at 10. You're showing 9 power, but all of it's blockable. We are turning the corner here. They're going to need a big draw. Making the construct, making the servo. In a Sholdred's Edict or Murderous Cut puts me to 1, and then I'm in some trouble. Hope it's not that. Ooh, Ponder. All right, big digs. I mean, don't find a removal spell, please. Did not shuffle. That's bad news. Ouch. Petty theft. Okay, that might have done it. Now I have to draw Supreme Verdict. All right, deck, let's go. Supreme Verdict. The one of Swords to Plowshares. I could cast the front half of Uro, gain 3, Plow Uro. I'm back to 10, and we... but this is a 4/4, because it could be a Thopter, then a Construct. Yeah, I need to Ponder for Supreme Verdict here. Or Ponder, Endurance, Plow, not even close. Yeah, Ponder, find me the Supreme Verdict. 3 lands, not going to do it. Shuffle that up, and cross my fingers. Caracas, Motobug. Okay. Is there anything to be done here? Uro can still draw a card, I guess is what I'm playing towards now. If I leave up white, okay. Green, blue, colorless, stack the draw above the thing. If I draw 2 removal spells here, I'm still dead. Okay, yep, got me. That removal spell, I played that whole game around getting Uro into play, and it was just too slow. GG's opponent. Ninjas are sweet. Yeah, we saw how that went wrong. I yeeted game 1. is where that went wrong. This game 3, we just narrowly fell behind in a game 3 that we did not need to be playing. Gonna shake it off and go to the next one. On to the next round.
If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event.
On the draw in round number 4, I am going to keep this. I got forced blue card. My opponent's already mulling to 6. Their name is IB Raging Daily. That sounds like someone who would play Reanimator. Okay. A Volcanic Island Ponder and all Old Border. Maybe they have better taste than I gave them credit for. Ponder did not shuffle. I am going to play this Ketria Triumph. I don't think I'm going to get a better chance to do this. If they wasteland me, we'll just play his turn cycle over again. But I do like having a pain-free source of mana, if I suspect this is Delver. And Ketria Triumph's a dope one to loan back, because then you get to cycle it and draw cards. Also, I noticed when I was doing some back-end stuff for last round that there was like a little bit of a buzzing sound going on in some spots. I fiddled with my mic a little. I hope that doesn't happen again, but I'm trying here. I'm going to wasteland before combat so I don't get my Ponder Bowmastered. And the fact that they didn't waste me and didn't do anything with their mana, and I have a 1 mana play and Loam in my hand, pretty interested in like all of this. Okay, Brainstorm, Flooded Stream, Force of Will. How do I want to stack these? I'm actually going to put the Force of Will in my hand, because if I force pitching Force, I get to keep my Lorien Revealed, which is a reliable shuffle and a reliable basic land if I need any of those things. Ooh, suddenly Xander's Lounge. Plus Volcanic Island. Are we Grixis or is this 5 color? Okay, 5 color confirmed. I will force a Beanstalk here. Oh, Scion of Draco. Fun. They're doing leyline stuff. Okay, I have white cards in my deck to go with this Solitude. I have this master plan to waste them out. I am actually going to let Scion resolve. This thing doesn't have really any words on it on its own. It's just a 4/4. I'm going to fetch, shuffle away that Brainstorm, unfortunately, but is what it is. Loam back, Wasteland, Flooded Strand. I'm going to have to discard one of these. Ooh, Force of Negation. All right, I'm not going to have to discard one of these. Force this back. Did they pitch Leyline to that? No, they pitched Force. Okay. They are some sort of Force Zoo deck or Bean Control deck with Leyline of the Guild Pact is in this deck, I promise. This is going to be the big turn. Can I do something to stabilize? Are they going to get a scary second creature into play, or is this Wasteland going to just take them out of the game? That's what we're playing towards right now. Okay, they do have land number 3. What are they going to do with it? They know I have Wasteland if I want it. Murktide Regent. Okay, that was a really good thing to do. Okay, white card. It would be a great time for you to show up. Plains is not a white card. This is 9. I can just redraw on Waterlog Grove and hope for literally any white card. Yeah, I think that's the play here. I don't like it, but I'm suddenly desperate. Okay, I think we lose. Yeah, Murktide was a good follow-up there. Now I'm dead in 2 hits. I can't even draw Supreme Verdict. What I have to do here is draw Uro, and the Uro trigger has to draw Plow, like in that order. That did not happen. Okay. They got me. Maybe shuffling away that Brainstorm was a spew. I just thought the game would be slightly slower than that, and I was incorrect. Okay, Force of Vigor does take out the Leyline and Draco. Carpet of Flowers. If they have a Leyline in play, this will trigger off every land they control. I don't know how zooey they are or how domain control-y they are right now. I didn't see enough to know that. I suspect Beanstalk and Leyline Binding are in their deck. I'm going to bring in Force of Vigor. I think I want to shave an Exploration, a Plow under 1 Force for these 3 cards. That just stabilizes my engine. Gives me cards I'd rather draw if I'm a little behind or trying to get to parity. Okay, I will keep this hand. Island Ponder keep. Also Swords to Plowshares would have won me that last game. if there was just one in my hand. I would be surprised if their deck can play Wasteland. I'm just going to get Tundra. Or did they waste me last game? No, they didn't. I thought they were Delver, and in my brain, they had already wasted me, but that was not actually what was going on. Okay, big old pile of basics. I'll take this. Just gets that Uro train out of the station. Carpet of Flowers. Defeated by my own sideboard card. And there's no Leyline in play, which means Scion is a stinker. I'm going to Brainstorm here. Prismatic Ending is just such a good draw, and we spiked. Got there. Put back... I think I'm going to put back Waterlog Grove and Basic Forest. I don't like getting rid of lands, but I also like all the spells in my hand. Prismatic Ending this Carpet. We know they play Force of Will and Force of Negation. We don't know if they think this is worth Force of Willing or Negationing. Now we do. Force of Negation pitching Brainstorm. Okay. All right, let's see what happens next. They get 1 mana here, casting a Brainstorm with it. Carpet is a card you could keep a hand on the strength of versus slow blue decks. So it's possible their hand isn't very good after this, or they might just get Domain and shove a Draco right now. All these things are equally possible. Exploration, Beanstalk, Uro. I think I'm going to Beanstalk here and hold up Plow or Brainstorm, and I can get Uro going in the future. Force of Vigor, okay. Glad I held this Exploration. It's very good at being a green card. I suspect we will find good targets for this eventually. Opponent now has 4 mana, because they couldn't resist putting an island into play. You know me. Fetch for Tundra, cast a Brainstorm, okay. Their deck is very cool. One of my locals was playing kind of a bigger 5-color domain pile like this at Legacy last week in paper. I think they lost in the finals of the tournament. They got Xander's Lounge. Okay, this rules. I'm going to let them take this because I get to draw a card on the way back in. Oh, nice. Okay, do I think Daze is in this deck? I could Plow this, play around Force Blue card. All right, I'm going to force the Carpet and the Leyline, and then Plow the Draco, because Draco is also an artifact, but I have Swords to Plowshares in my hand. Please don't have Force Blue card right now. Okay, I guess going Hellbent isn't the worst thing my opponent could do for me. Okay, here we go. Uro, take over this game. I'm going to play my land first, so I can still Brainstorm. Carpet, okay. That lets me do stuff next turn. They do have 3 islands in play. And they're in top deck mode versus Uro that is pending. Decline the Carpet trigger. Love to see that. Okay, it's Uro time. Cast the Carpet. Go to second main, make green, blue, blue. And I'll leave a Flooded Strand in the graveyard for Loam. And there's 1 in my hand. Okay, we're cooking now. Even if they have another Leyline Binding, Caracas could protect Uro from getting exiled. White in the pool. We might see it right now. Solitude, yikes. I'll return this legendary creature to its owner's hand. There's definitely Beanstalks in this deck, by the way. If there was any doubt left, the Solitude clearly confirms it. Oh, let's go! Use the Carpet's ability. Make green. And I'm going to Uro first. See what this comes up with. Prismatic Ending, that was a good one to come up with. I could fetch Ketria Triome and use Carpet of Flowers to Prismatic Ending Solitude, but I think putting them on no mana is both better and funnier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to get my basic planes here. Or I don't have a Trop yet. I'm going to get Trop. And Plow the Xander's Lounge takes longer to get back to active. I think I'm going to go for Trop and Xander's Lounge. Blammo. Put those right on top of your deck. We've resolved Flounder twice, and both times opponents conceded on the spot. That's what you want out of that card. We could actually put Mystic Sanctuary in this deck and get a Plow loop going. Put 2 target lands. You could actually target your Mystic Sanctuary and one of their lands and just Plow every turn or every other turn. No, it is every turn. You could set it up that way. Okay. The next iteration has been considered. I am glad we brought in the Force of Vigors. The read was right. This is a Beanstalk deck. This is a Carpet of Flowers deck. This is a Leyline Binding deck. 1 seems like the right number of Plow unders. Do I want P-Zone? It's good if we settle into a Carpet game. It's bad if they just Draco into Murktide me. I don't think I want P-Zone. Though if their endgame is Solitude related and they're more of a control deck, I think I do want P-Zone. I talked myself into it. I'm beginning to think this is more of like a big mid-range to control scale deck. And they just happened to zoom me out game 1. And the control mirrors are exactly where you want Paradox Zone. I'm going to shave a Loam here to make room for that. I feel like 1 is the right number of Loams almost all the time. A Wasteland very good in this matchup. Tapped Hedge Maze, a little slow. What if they do something like lead on Xander's Lounge and I Wasteland? It's over. Oh, Leyline of the Guild Pact. Okay. Well, here it is. Functional 5-card hand, but they have full domain and their creatures are every color. Swords to Plowshares. I am surveilling, looking for a white source here. Prismatic Ending into the bin. Not what I'm doing here. All of their creatures, or Scion of Draco will grant all of their creatures, including itself, all of the things that it does. So Scion is a 4/4 flying, lifelink, death touch, hexproof, etc. As long as his Leyline's in play. Okay, Brainstorm off the basic planes. You love to see it. Leyline, because your lands are every basic type, Carpet of Flowers is just off the chain here. Yeah, playing on basics, no reason to fetch domain here. Speaking of being off the chain, there's a Carpet of Flowers. And my land is an island. They didn't do anything. Plow under, lol. I think I need to ponder here rather than invest in Beanstalk. Or, no, I could play Beanstalk and then everything gets better for me. Okay, I am just going to play Beanstalk. This makes Solitude better, Force of Will, all the things I could draw. P-Zone. P-Zone, Plow under. The 2 5-drops in the deck that have come in and out of the deck every time I sideboard. They're both here, don't worry. Right on turn 3, which is when I want to see them. Leyline Binding. Okay, they clear out my Beanstalk. Force of Vigor remains a great draw, if I could find one of those. And they could have literally anything here. I don't think this deck's going to have Bowmaster, but, like, it's possible. No land, Big Wit. I'm going to have to shuffle this and just hope for a land. Come on, land. Blue source. Okay, not a blue source. But I did hit a land drop, and now these Swords to Plowshares are on at least for the next threat. Oh, if they don't really present a threat, if their hand is just, like, a bunch of Solitudes, and I resolve this P-Zone, we are in business. Okay, there's a Solitude for me. I'm going to ponder again. Okay. Uro and a bunch of lands. I could take the Tundra and cantrip some more here. Or I could put the Savannah into play, use it to cast Uro, put in Tundra next turn. Does this matter? I could also just plow them under next turn. Oh yeah, I'm getting Savannah now and then plowing them under. The Carpet makes it a lot worse, but I'm having fun here. I have their next 3 threats challenged. But if I can plow them under next turn and then P-Zone the turn after that. They have so many lands and Carpet of Flowers. All right, I'm off it. Plow under is not even good here. If I had a Force of Will, I would send it on P-Zone. I think this is a great spot to Brainstorm, actually. The P-Zone and the Plow under both looking wonky. There's a Force. Okay. Plow under could chill. I'm going to redraw this Plow right now when I play Uro. Okay, here's Uro. This Ponder will be my blue card for Force, and then I'll win this game with Paradox Zone. Okay, we've got a plan laid out in front of us. It does make me nervous that they just haven't done anything in 4 turns with perfect mana and lots of it. Hand's got to be full of Leyline Bindings and Force of Wills. And I could just send the Plow under, try to get some interaction out. Yeah, this card's not even good. I'm going to cast it. Bang. It does set them back 2 lands and force them to fetch to not have to draw them again. And if this draws out a counterspell, I'll be stoked about it. Okay, yeah. Deal. That's a Force that's not hitting my Paradox Zone. Okay, draw go again. No land, no mana off Carpet. I'd love a fetch land to just play Uro. Solitude. Okay, I think it's time to send the zone. I have Force back up. Get in the zone! It resolved. I'll have to force a Leyline Binding here. Let's see if we get to the end step. This is the moment to act if they've got something. Wow, okay. We're just zoning. Plow under. Perfect bait for a Force of Negation. And now we're grinding out fractals. Scion of Draco, who I cannot actually plow because of the ley line. I think I am not going to interact with this. First strike, lifelink, flying. My fractals will be a lot bigger than this very soon, and if Uro gets cooking, or if I draw a Force of Vigor to kill the ley line, there's a lot of ifs here. Up the Beanstalk, I like that one. Beanstalk, get something going here. Okay, fetch land. That casts Uro next turn. I'm going to keep this Force blue card back. I could also hard cast Solitude, who can't exile any of their creatures because they all have hexproof, but it does draw a card and put a 3/2 lifelink into play to add to my 2/2 and my 4/4. Something's happening in the end step. You've got a Solitude. Okay. I think I'm going to force this. And I'm going to pitch to do it because I want to leave up Solitude. Back up Uro. Cool. That was my plan. Stop it. I do feel worse without a Force of Will in my hand. Okay. It has Vigilance and Flying, so I can't really interact with this. The race is on. End of turn, I'm going to fetch Tropical Island and play a Solitude. Cast this. I could even exile my 2/2, gain some life. That 2/2's not doing much here. Yeah, I am going to do that, actually. Bam. Just a little insurance policy on my life total. Uro's ready to cook now. Green, green, blue, blue. Leave the land in there. Uro's triggering. Field of the Dead? Oh, even better. Okay. Misty Rainforest comes in. I found the Force, which starts doing stuff next turn. Do I want to cycle Ketria Triumph or play it? I'm going to cycle it. Another up the Beanstalk. Cool. And no attacks here. Their thing has first strike. Next turn, I have a 6/6 and an 8/8 that I can start bashing in with. Right, they're starting to crack fetch lands over there. I gotta be judicious about when I use this Force of Vigor. There's a Brainstorm. I think if this Force of Vigor resolves, I win the game on the spot. I only have 3 forces in my deck, and I've used one of them. But I do have Uro in play. The P-Zone is going nuts here. Yeah, just getting another 4 in, which is somehow... my life total is still the same as it was last turn when they did that. Okay, draw for turn. Another Force of Vigor. The dubs. Okay, Uro and Fractal are going to attack. Caracas. This is not a legendary creature. It just sounds like it is. It has first strike and lifelink. It does not have death touch. And, okay, green, green, 1/2, green, green, 1/2. I can send 2 Force of Vigors in during combat next turn and take all the words off Draco and just ambush. And I get a 16/16. I might not even need to do this. The P-Zone is too busted. Fetching in the end step. I'm not going to do anything on my turn, because if they do have to cast a counterspell, I want it to be on their turn with their own mana. A Ponder is fine. They did not shuffle, and then they fetched. Okay, what's going on here? I'm going to respond to Beanstalk, because if they start forcing me back and fighting over this, I don't want those to be cantrips for them. Force of Vigor. Cast targeting Leyline and Leyline Binding. First shot. Here we go. Okay, that just resolved. Give me that. I could Force of Vigor Draco and Carpet right now, but that doesn't matter. I'm winning this game if nothing changes. Another up the Beanstalk. Okay. They would suddenly have to have like Terminus in their deck to stabilize this. A card that I would be a little surprised if they're playing. A fetching. Oh, maybe I was supposed to force in response to the fetch, because if they play Murktide and draw 2 cards here, that's pretty good. Or just a third one of these. Yeah, okay. It's fine. At this point, that ship has sailed. I'm just going to try to attack them for lethal next turn. Flooded Strand. If they had fetched this Flooded Strand, I would have sent a Force of Vigor. Just to make sure Murktide doesn't draw a million. Okay, end step. I'll play a Solitude and draw 2. I don't need this, but boy am I doing it. Okay, they forced me back, pitching a Leyline. Now they draw 3 cards. Maybe that was a spew. I did just turn on Force of Will, which is also a Tidings. But I'm drawing 2 cards here as well. Okay, that was a crazy match. GG's. The P-Zone, unstoppable. On to the final round.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop.
On the draw for the final round, Force Blue card, Island Ponder. All the heuristics have been checked. Opponents on a Malta 6 already, and they're happy with 6. Let's do it. Blue to Delta. If I draw a land, I will play Exploration here. Cool. Done deal. If I didn't have an extra land to dump out, I don't think it's as good. Oh, am I getting stifled? Probably not out of a Tundra deck, but anything's possible. Tight. All right, well, force that. Tundra Stifle. What is this? Is this the Bant Dreadnought deck? I'd be excited if it was. I'm not going to lie. Okay, I'm going to get Tropical Island. Or do I want Savannah? I want Savannah. Exploration. Okay. That's worth a Force of Will, but getting my Stifle through isn't. Interesting. That pitched a Preordain. They have a Wasteland. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. Why they held on to the Force for the Exploration. Life from the Loam should take over this game if I can cast it. Because they've spent significant resources into denying me mana. And there's another one. Okay. Well, I'm going to need a land in my next 2 draw steps. We did it. Okay, Windswept Teeth passed. Now I could get basic cast Life from the Loam. Scalding Tarn. Oh, there's some kind of Jeskai tempo. Field of the Dead, what's up? Okay, fetch here first. Do you have another Stifle? No, thank goodness. Fetch, Island, and get back Savannah, Windswept Heath, and Flooded Strand. So this is the point of the game where Loam Bant just does the damn thing, because Wasteland, Stifle, Force of Will on Exploration, every card in their graveyard except the Polluted Delta was used to deny me mana, and now I just picked all those cards back up and they didn't. 6 cards in hand to your 2. Doorkeeper Thrall. Alright, this is definitely a Dreadnought deck. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. If the last 2 cards in their hand are both Dreadnought, they're actually in good shape here. Okay, cool. That didn't happen. I imagine Cryptic Coat and Stoneforge Mystic are parts of this deck. I'm going to play up the Beanstalk, which is neither an enchantment nor a creature, so I do get to draw a card. And I'm going to play out my Field of the Dead. Just get the train rolling. No blue card to go with this Force right now, but as soon as I find one, that's really good. All right, another one of these, and they're Hellbent. Okay, whatever. Burrow just comes into play, importantly. I think Evoke doesn't kill it. Or it's not even Evoke, it's the ETB trigger. I just cast it, and I have a 6/6. Solitude does not trigger, but it also doesn't die. It does trigger Beanstalk. That's worth something to me. Okay, Windswept Teeth go in. This can't get Hedge Maze if I want to cast Solitude next turn, which is still a cantripping 3/2 lifelink. Phyrexian Dreadnought, there you are. Okay. Well, I'm not casting Solitude this turn anyway, so I might as well get the Hedge Maze selection. Hedge Maze. Can you find an Uro? A Wasteland. Do I want Wasteland? No, I'll put it in my graveyard. I can pick it up with Loam later if I decide that's what the game's about. I want a blue card here to back up my Prismatic Ending. Up the Beanstalk. Alright, this could still be a blue card. Draw any blue card and we're cooking. Blue card? Plow under, LOL. Okay, Prismatic Ending. They have 1 card in their hand. Just have to hope it's not like Blacksmith Skill or some garbage. Okay, that's gone. And the Plow under draw 2 cards is live for next turn. We're so close to doing it here. Please don't kill me, opponent. Preordain, okay. Actually, Stoneforge Mystic probably isn't in this deck if there's multiple Doorkeeper Thralls in the main. That's a pretty big nombo. There's got to be Cryptic Coats, though. They top-bottomed the Scry and passed. I mean, we're going to get it here. We're going to draw 2 cards off of a Plow under, even if it doesn't win the game on the spot. I'm going to play Trop and leave up white when I do this. Bang, bang. Let's see if we could get another instantaneous concession. Here it is. The moment we've all been waiting for. They're fetching in response. I could pay for days. Dress down. Yeah, they're just trying to cantrip their way out of this. Okay, my draws are happening here. Draw, draw. Your lands are gone. I think I'm just going to pitch Cast Solitude while we're all hanging out here. It draws me 2 cards, and then it also stays in play because of both Dress Down and Thrall. And I'm sitting on Force Blue card, which also draws 2 cards. Just doing it here. Now I'm winning the damage race. And their next 2 draws are Island Tundra. Flooded Strand, that could shuffle away one of them. That also means there's 1 mystery card in their hand. Swords of Plowshares, sure, that's fine. Okay, their hand is probably Tundra. And I just need to find a spell to cast, like that one. Okay, sick. Fetch land gives me Zombos. Zombo. And here is Uro, who just arrives in play. Force backup. It's going to be hard for them to win from here. They fetched in the end step. Their hand is Tundra plus whatever they just drew at random. Ponder's fine. They may have actually kept the basic because I have Wasteland Loam in my graveyard. Did not shuffle, bold. And it is the island. Okay, they stay attacking. And I'm going to fetch basic planes in the end step. Dress down, okay. Well, I'll fetch, get basic planes, which makes a Zombo. What happens if I force this? Do I just win? Probably. I could also Prismatic Ending this, and then go to combat and keep my force up. I'm doing that. This gives them a card, but I don't care. I'm not dredging Loam, even though they are low on wastables, or into wasteland range, whatever I'm trying to say there. Tundra, make a zombie. And I'm going to overpay on this ending to draw 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So draw 2 cards, get the trigger. This fetch land is 2 more zombies. I gain 3 life here. And we did it. Okay, it took many rounds, but we did resolve Plow Under, and it drew 2 cards. We're playing against a Dreadnought strategy here. Force of Vigor looks pretty good. That game was actually over when we resolved Life from the Loam. It just took a long time, but they were so far behind from doing that. I like the Loams, both of them. I think Plow Under, I mean, we've showcased it enough. I think there should be one in the deck, responsibly speaking. We haven't really popped off with Exploration yet, and it is a green card. I'll leave those in. Give them a chance to shine. Maybe I'll lose 1 Force of Will. And then... oh, Carpet of Flowers is going to be good here. All right, fine. I'll bring in Carpet and find something to cut. Yeah, 1 more cut here. I could cut another Force, but fighting over that Stifle on turn 1 was actually really important. Solitude's nuts. All right, sorry, Exploration. It's just you, buddy. I will keep this hand. It's got white removal in it, which is important. Tundra, as we know, represents Stifle in this deck. Top on him, the Preordain. I've got some options here. I could just drop this guy to try him into play. Or I could fetch Basic and Ponder, or I could fetch Trop and Ponder. I'm going to play the Ketria Triome. If they wasteland me here, everything that I saw in their deck, see, that is scary. It costs 2 or 3 mana, so I don't really mind getting wastelanded. And once again, if they dedicate a bunch of resources into wasting me, then this Life from the Loam buries them when I turn around and cast it. Speaking of burying them, there's Carpet of Flowers. Caracas, I'm going to play around Stifle, since I can. My plan here is Carpet plus Beanstalk. Carpet did resolve. We're moving to second main, trigger Carpet. Yes, make green, cast up the Beanstalk. This can be dazed, but if they want to spend a daze on this, that's fine. I've got Uro, which does a lot of what Up the Beanstalk does. Only also attacks for 6. We're in there. And drew a card. Cool. Are they going to flash in a Thrall? They are indeed. And now we'll see how many Dreadnoughts they have. If it's 1, I'm good. If it's 2, that's worrisome. If it's 3, we're probably dead. Rest in peace. Okay. That makes Uro worse, but my Force of Vigors are in the deck and Prismatic Endings in my hand. Oh, Uro's already great because they have this stupid Thrall in play. Never mind. Rest in peace does very little in this particular spot. Up the Beanstalk, number 2. I'm going to make green and play another Up the Beanstalk. If their pressure is going to be 1/2 Doorkeeper Thrall, I will find a way to beat that. And if they ever drop some Dreadnoughts, I would rather have my whole draw engine online to fight it. Ponder, Force of Will. I'm never upset to have Force of Will in my hand, especially with 2 Beanstalks and then a Prismatic Ending on top. That's just more removal if they dump out multiple Dreadnoughts. Taking my time, don't need to be aggressive here. Brainstorm from the opponent, you got it. Multiple fetch lands that they're afraid to use because of Carpet of Flowers. I'm drawing Prismatic Ending. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to make blue. And I'm going to play Forest and Uro. Uro just shows up. If they try to remove it, I'll bounce it with Caracas, and they will eventually run out of cards. Also, if they do something I need to force, then I could pick up Uro, and that's a blue card. Fetch for a Tundra in the end step. They're giving up on not playing any islands. Gotta shuffle those Brainstorm cards, even if it stings. And leaving back. Not attacking. Interesting. Are you going to chump block Uro? I don't believe that you are. I'm just going to go to combat here. Trigger. Stifling the draw. Okay. If this is where they are, they're in trouble. A second main. Carpet of Flowers. It's good for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I am going to make the mana. I'm going to make white. And I'm going to Prismatic Ending and overpay on this Thrall. Draw 2 cards, remove your essential combo piece to your deck. Uro's already in play. Still protected by Caracas, still protected by Force. They're forcing me, which is funny because I barely even cared about this. I was just trying to draw 2 cards. That ended up being a Hymn to Turok plus Divination. Isn't there some Eldrazi that does something like that? Like Sire of Stagnation? Or, I don't know. I imagine there's a card that does that. And they scooped it up because they're not doing anything. Okay, a positive record, including a punt versus ninjas. So 4-1 was in our grasp here. And a coin flip versus mono red. The one we lost versus mono red, they managed to come up with 9 damage from no permanents or no non-land permanents in play in 1 turn. Like, good for them. But this was grindy. It was really cool. The Plow unders were sweet. The explorations rarely did anything. I think with this density of Uro in your deck, you just don't need exploration. The changes I would make moving forward is I would cut the explorations. I think 2 Loam is fine in the main, but you could get away with 1, and don't be surprised if you board one out often. 1 Plow under is probably enough, and add Mystic Sanctuary to the mana base. And then you could get Plow under loops going. And then the exploration slots just become some other useful spell, like Solitude number 4, Plow number 4, Uro number 4. We never did fire the full exploration Loam engine, and I think that's okay, but Plow under won every game we cast it in. And this card is mega stupid, always has been, still is. I mean, it's a 5-mana sorcery. We also had games where we mulliganed hands or just couldn't really do anything because this was in our hand on turn 2 instead of on turn 5 when we want it. But you understand the risks when you play a card like this. The exchange is everybody concedes when you cast it. Yeah, clean this up, just be a little more responsible. -2 exploration, -1 Plow under, +1 Solitude, +1 Mystic Sanctuary, +1 Uro. And then just remember to play your cards correctly and resolve the whole stack before you start casting Swords to Plowshares at random. And you should actually be in a pretty good place. This is a fun, grindy deck. Michael, thank you for sharing it with us. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.